Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, live from Studio 630 in the burbs of Chicago. It is time now for another episode of Outside the Box. Outside the Box. With your hosts, Oz Osborne and Pee Wee Taylor.
And we're live. Welcome back, my douchebags. That's what I'm going to call people from now on, the Scion douchebags.
We are the Scion douchebags.
We are the Scion douchebags.
We probably are. Wait a minute. We probably are the Scion douchebags.
We are the Scion douchebags, and we are fucking proud.
Whoa. Oh, I thought that was going to hit the floor. I'm like, whoa.
I'm going to levitate my beer bottle.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. We just came up with this new idea for doing this. You just got to get a key ring. And
it's easy for undressing or redressing it.
It's an easy. Oh fuck! I can't do it.
You can.
Sorry, I have trouble. I have trouble with bra straps too.
Those fuckers are tricky.
Maybe it's just under too much of a load.
Maybe.
Could be.
The world may never know.
In all seriousness, welcome to episode 16.
16.
I'm sorry, you guys. We're filming like
compound filming.
Three intros at one time. We're even like changing. We're doing wardrobe changes.
Yes.
The sad thing is we got everything correct because you are going to watch the next portion and it's going to look like it was just like here. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming back. Episode number 16 with Mr. Steve Ball. We had fun with Steve.
He was a good time. He was good. He was fun to talk to.
It was fun.
He sounded good too.
He did sound good.
Yeah.
We're definitely getting there with that. We got to play with the video section a little bit. Hopefully, after our interview with Steve, we'll have this new PC up and running, and we will be able to film Skype and put it up here, and everything's gonna be nice and crisp and polished. And then I don't know what the hell to do anymore.
We'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Jesus Christ, dude! Did you burp?
Yeah, I did.
Whoa, that smelled like chicken wings.
That's lunch and yeah.
Sorry about that.
What a fucking disappointing lunch too. My God, it was awful.
We just went to lunch, went to Hooters, had disappointing chicken wings, spent $40
on 20 chicken wings and a basket of fries.
And shared a bag of fries. We didn't even have beer. Could have at least.
We didn't. You can't even. Can you imagine if we drank beer? We couldn't get out of there for $50.
Fuck Hooters.
I'm over it.
But we did manage to spend some money afterwards.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Expensive lunch. Anyway, so we got Mr. Steve Ball. We did an interview with him. We're gonna split that up in two, just like we always do. Well, I guess not always, but what we're doing here makes it a little easier. Keeps us right about an hour, what we want. Because we got to put commercials and we got to pay the bills.
That's right.
You guys got to buy some parts. So we're doing that. We're also going to do a small section here that's on AirRide. When we talk about AirRide, we're not going to install it. We're not going to do anything else, but we're going to explain the components for some of you guys that are looking into it and maybe don't quite understand how it works. Or we'll put a little bit of information in there also, like I like to teach everybody when I bag a vehicle, so that if something happens that you know what you can do. So,
yeah.
That was a long, drawn-out breath there. I'm kind of winded.
Maybe we'll give him some diagrams.
Diagrams?
And some pictures, yeah. We'll dub those in later.
Okay. Anyway, guys, that's what we got, and we're going to keep it short. That's shorter than we planned on, Pee-wee.
It works.
I think we're finally getting tired of talking.
I think we're getting tired of talking. We've been doing a lot of yakking today.
All right, guys, so we're going to go through another commercial and of our sponsors. We might throw in a Scion commercial. What do you think about the Scion commercials?
I love the Scion commercials, dude.
I got to find the deviants.
It's on you. It's somewhere.
It's in there.
It's somewhere on YouTube.
Maybe we just got to look up Scion deviants.
Yeah, if you look it up, it comes up.
So we'll throw those in there. We also got to get back to doing some of the other videos that I found online.
I love those too.
So if you guys got videos, put to music, send them to us. We'll throw them up in here. We're always looking for pictures and whatnot.
Yes.
But I will say this, guys. Keep in mind, we're trying to keep it with high quality. It's not to say that, bad quality sucks. We're just trying to keep it really high so that,
keep the viewers entertained.
We want high quality from you, but this next video with Steve being blue, don't worry about that. No, seriously, we're trying to up the quality, guys. We really want some quality stuff, and we really appreciate it. We want to see what you guys have got. The one thing I need more than anything is pictures of an XB with you enjoying a beer.
That's pretty simple to do.
And keep those videos or pictures coming in of us watching the thing. I want to see it. It's kick-ass.
Those are my favorite.
Dude, I love those. For sure.
When people are watching them on TV or in their car or whatever, it's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Saturday morning cartoons. We did not do the jammies thing.
The jammies thing.
Jammies. Wearing jammies.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
I don't really have any jammies.
Like I said, I have to come out here in my underwear.
All right, guys. We will shut the fuck up and we will
Let's talk to Steve.
Let's talk to Steve.
We got XBs and TC, XDs and XAs, performance mods, rims, custom paint. It is that which makes us different that brings us together.
Welcome back.
We're back.
Okay, guys. My douchebags. I gotta stop saying guys. That's why I'm like, I gotta come up with something. I just
It
first
can't
thing
be
that comes
guys.
in.
It has to be just Okay, douchebags.
Okay, you douchebags out there.
Just call everyone douchebags. That'll help.
We're just gonna take that freaking video of that fat chick and we're just gonna turn it around like.
Dude, we'll just keep recycling that clip.
I need to find that.
You ever listen to Howard Stern's show? You know how they recycle sound clips like that. They keep using them.
Maybe we need to do that, and can somebody out there make me a video of like a stuttering of her going, or you scion douchebags.
Just a sound clip would be perfect. If you can give us the audio clip.
If I can find that video, I can make that part.
Oh, I can find it for you right now if you want me to.
We'll do that.
I'm going to do it.
Not right now.
Okay, I'll do it later.
All right, guys. Well, welcome back. Before we get into Steve, we wanted to take a minute and talk about air.
Do we need to do that again?
No. We're going to talk about airline products. What we're going to do is we're going to break it all down. And we're going to talk about each component. We're not going to necessarily show you what we've got here or install it. We're going to go through it. So if you guys are thinking about doing air ride and you've got some questionable thoughts about it, maybe we'll fill you in on it. Because there's a lot of misinformation out there that says, oh, it's going to break down. You're going to be stranded. You're going to do this. You're going to do that.
Only defective air ride systems break down.
And we'll start off with that, okay? Your problems that do arise usually happen because of something that wasn't installed properly.
I'm gonna vouch that.
For the one thing that we've talked about in here, and I've been on air for fucking over 10 years now, and I've had very little problems. You know, I've had valves freeze and whatnot, and we'll go through all that. There's small problems, but you know, I have not been stranded on the side of the road. So. And we'll also talk about a little bit of that, what you could have in your car when you're going on a drive and you want to take stuff with you just in case something happens. Because what I'm big on, and when I would do my installs, and Pee Wee will back me up on this, is I like to have the owner there when I'm doing the install. So therefore, if something happens when they're going down the road and something happens, they know what to do. I don't want people to be stranded. And that was why, if you think back a little bit when we were talking about how Pee Wee popped an airline, and on the way going somewhere after we did Walmart. A cast,
we were going to Walmart.
That he jumped right out and knew exactly what it was, and that's what we want you guys to do. So here we're going to start out with something very simple: gauges. Okay, gauges are fairly simple. It's something that lets you know how much air pressure is in the tank. Now, some of the people take that for granted. Oh, I don't need those gauges. I'm not one of those people.
I'm with you. I don't believe in not having gauges.
I know people that have no gauges and run with no gauges and whatnot. And if you're going to do that, that's perfectly fine. I'm forgetful. I don't think about when did I turn that compressor on, how long has it run or whatnot. I look over at my gauge and go, there's what's that. So gauges, depending on how you run it, if you're running between a 4 and an 8 valve setup, and we'll get into that when we get into valves, will depend on how many gauges you need. If you're running a 4 gauge, you're only going to need 3 gauges. And you don't necessarily have to have a tank pressure, but it's one of the, I'll just say it, you do need to have one in my opinion. The reason I say you need a tank pressure gauge is because pressure switches are probably one of the only things that go bad on a regular occasion, and there's nothing you can do about it. Pressure switches have been known to not work right out of the fucking box. So
I haven't experienced that, but
I've had a couple gone out. I know people that have bought them and they didn't work. So and that's something else that you're going to want to keep around in a bag or something you got in the car.
They're not expensive.
No. If you buy one, buy 2 or 3 so that you've got them just in case. And if you don't need them, maybe your buddy did and you can hook him up and then you're not on the side of the road. But basically, your gauges are going to tell you everything about that. Your tank pressure gauge is going to tell you where your tank pressure is at. It's going to tell you if the compressors didn't shut off because the pressure switch didn't go on. And we'll get into the pressure about that a little bit more in a second. But it's also going to tell you when it doesn't kick on, so you can watch that. I have to know and rail and box where I'm at front-wise for my pressure at all times, because if I go below 100 PSI, I can't turn. And some of you guys that are stanced, you may need that. You're going on a trip down the road. You're down the road about an hour. And if you air out to 0 and hit that freaking tire, stop, boom, You know, big problem.
Make rubber spaghetti.
Because air leaks do happen, and that's part of being on air. You know, it's very rarely that you get a chance where there's absolutely no freaking air leaks. So it's always nice to know.
You're not on your first install.
Right.
It ain't going to happen.
So it's always good to have those gauges in there so you can watch it. You can do it. I know my tank has a leak. I know my fronts leak a little bit. So I'm driving down the road. I look over, okay, hit it up a little bit. We're good. Keep going. And you can work on doing that so that you don't have those leaks. Some of us are just like, it's part of the game, and we just do it. So, but now you've got two different kinds of gauges. You've got your manual gauges with the needle. You've also got a digital gauge. I like the digital gauges because I know Pee-wee, he's running manual gauges. He went back and forth between the two.
I went back and forth, and I went back to the manual gauges.
The main big difference between the two is this. In a manual gauge, you're actually going to have to run an air line from the tank and, well, I'm sorry, not the tank, but from where your valves are.
From your valves and your tank.
And your tank. They're going to go up to the gauge and they're going to plug into the back. So you've got an added thing of air line there. They are a little more accurate than your digital, I would say. And they're always going to work because they're a mechanical thing. So you don't have to worry about a power loss or whatever.
Yes.
So you've got that. Some of them, like me, I got away from them because there's really not a very good place to put them on the Scion. I know there's a spot, a lot of people put them like up by the gauge cluster there. They got that little spot on the side. Problem I've noticed is that when you do that, it shines up on the windshield and it's fucking annoying.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I did see somebody post on the thing that there was a fitting or something that you can get that kind of has a thing that sticks out that kind of changes that so it doesn't do it, but I don't know where you can get those. So if you do know that, let me know because I'd kind of like to know. Other than that, that's pretty much about it. Well, let me go back. Your digital gauges, you don't have to run the airline all the way up. You're just running electrical wiring from each sending unit, which is in line with your bags or whatnot. So like if you've got your section where your front bags are, you'll have a T in there, or you've got your pressure or your sending unit in there, just like you would if you were going to be running a line out to a manual gauge. But this instead, you're running your wiring back there, so it's a little easier to do. That's a lot easier because shit, you can go down to the store and buy wiring at Walmart for cheap. You got to get the DOT proved tubing from a truck store or
airbag supplier.
Airbag Supply, Thorback Brothers. We like to use those guys.
I love using those guys. Those guys are the best.
So, but that's your gauges. And again, like I said, I recommend having them just because I'm forgetful and I want to see where we're at.
Well, that and it's a clear indicator of if you're gonna have a problem. And like if something drops, you're gonna go, oh shit, my front corner's dropping or whatever. And it also helps you diagnose. Not only that, it also saves tires because like when I do alignment, I base it off of a set PSI, and I set that as my ride height because as you air down or air up, your inner outer toe changes.
Correct.
So if you set your car at 60 PSI on a second gen, because that's where it seems most people sit. If you ride it at 80, it'll go one way or the other.
Right. And that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That's perfect, Pee-wee.
And so it saves your tires, and it's just good to have. There's just no reason not to have
Now, keep in mind, if you're running in between an airlift and a randoed, your PSI is going to be different. So don't gauge it at 60. Each vehicle is going to be different. So, but what he's saying is find your ride height where you're going to want it after you bag it. Then when you take it in to get it aligned, put it at that setting, get the car aligned, and that way you know that when you're running at that, those wheels are set the way you want them.
Yes.
So, good point, Pee-wee. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's go to pressure switch real quick. Pressure switch really is simple. It's basically a little switch that's in your airline setup, and it's usually after your tank. And what you do is basically it's a switch that turns off and on the electricity to your compressors, okay? So if you got a 200 PSI pressure switch, when you get up to 200 PSI, it'll shut it off. Then when you get down to, I don't know what those turn on. What does yours turn on at, Pee-wee?
The one in my XB turns on at 180 and shuts off at 200, but they vary. You can get them where they turn off at 150. You can get them off. You can get them where they turn off at 120.
And what that means is if when that thing builds up pressure in that tank to 200 psi, it shuts it off. Because if you most tanks are only rated to 200 psi. If you go over that, you're risking the chance of it blowing up. That's not to say that it's going to happen if you're at 205, but you're
right.
You're watching that and your gauge is at 210, and you went, shit, that thing didn't shut off. I better go take care of that. Okay, that's what you're looking at. They will do that. You'll also when you get it, depending on where it's set to turn on. I think on mine, it turns on at 80, I think, and goes up to like 175, and then it shuts off. But again, you can look at your pressure switches, or when you look into buying them, you can find the different settings for those. But that's what it does, and it'll shut off and turn it on when you need air and whatnot. So that's basically what that does. Now, let's say you're driving down the road, your pressure switch doesn't shut off. What do? You're running back, you get to it, you disconnect it off one side. You pull it off, it'll shut the compressors off. They aren't going anymore. Now, what happens? You're on a trip, you had to do that, and you got to get it back up and going, okay? Then what you got to do is, luckily you still got your gauges in there, because you can turn them on, just take the two wires off.
Bypass your pressure switch.
Off the pressure switch, put the wires together, turns the compressor on, watch to make sure it gets to pressure, turn it off, pull them apart, and then keep them apart. Then watch your gauges as you're driving your way home. That's how you can do that, and that's a way that you can save yourself on the side of the road. And most of the time, like I said, that's the one component that goes out.
I've had that happen, actually. Have you ever had a tank overfill or a compressor?
Oh, hell yeah. I've had a lot of pressure switches go out, so always
I've never had them go out. I had one time in the winter where it froze up.
I've had
right
that
in the
too.
manifold. So what was happening is it was reading like there was no pressure. And I guarantee you, and at one point I'm like, hey, man, these compressors have been running for a while. And it peaked past 200. I'm like, whoa. There was a lot of pressure in that tank, let me tell you. Because I hit the fill and the front went, bounced up in the air. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, and it is amazing how...
It's not good. Like, and here's the other thing, too, here's another tall tale sign. Either it's not shutting off. It can be for, like, either, A, the pressure switch is not doing what it's supposed to do. Like, basically, like, it should take no more than... What do you think? 6 minutes tops ever to fill your tank?
Well, that all depends on your compressor
It all
size.
depends on your compressors, because it'll tell you how long.
And that's the thing, guys. There's lots of different variables in here. So when people are online telling you, oh, it should fill that tank, and da-da-da-da-da, depends on your compressor size.
It definitely does.
Depends on a lot of stuff, your valves, all this stuff. So keep that in mind, and that's why we're doing this. So there you go. That's your pressure switch, and that's how to get past it if you need to. And basically the differences between those. Now, let's go into valves. There's a lot to do with valves, okay? Back in the day, we had manual valves where you actually had, I think guys call them paddles. Basically what that does is it sends your air line up to your switch, and you go, psh, psh, and it basically fills and shuts it off when you let go of that switch. And that was great. A lot of the guys now are still running those because they swear by them.
They don't break. There's no wiring.
They don't break. You don't have to worry about the electricity going off or losing signal or whatever. It doesn't work. You're like, what the hell? There's ways around that too on a regular valve. But I never really run them. I had a set from MIC. This was fucking way back in the day.
Yeah.
And people still swear by them, and that's great. If that's your thing, that's cool. Me, I run electric valves. I like the electric valves.
I agree.
And those valves come in 3 different sizes. I don't really know of a manual valve that's more than 1/4 inch, do you?
I think you can get them to 3/8.
I know I've seen guys...
Little Larry's one is a 3/8, but they don't call them Little Larry's anymore because it's someone else making them. Now they call it the foreplay.
So I've also seen guys that have fucking used like air hose, and they've got the manual ball valve where you're like,
oh, that's like going.
That's like
back.
rat rod shit. But I've seen that.
That's dinosaur shit. Right
Your electric valves, they come in 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch. I would not recommend putting a 1/2 inch on the side.
Don't put
of an
1/2 inch valves on an XB.
I've seen them on an S10 and it shakes the ground when it lays out. And I would think if you freaking did half-inch valves on an XB, especially if you're running 200 PSI, you're going to be joining SpaceX.
You'll hop. You will hop with half-inch.
Which, I don't know, maybe you're into hopping. You could do that.
Maybe.
But
it's not 2003, but...
Quarter-inch lines, quarter-inch valves, you guys want that nice slope.
That's too damn slow for me.
That's cool. I love that look in the magazines or in the videos and whatnot. But I'll tell you what, I run 3/8. It's louder, so I get the attention when I pull into the car show.
That it does.
And when I'm running down the road and I see somebody, I'm like, I want to fucking drag
pothole.
it. Boom. Yeah, that too. I want to drag it. I want a pothole. I'm up. Okay.
You know how many times having fast valves have saved my front bumper on the road? You're skating it. Oh, shit. What is that? Pops the front end up. I mean, I like the instantaneous action of valves.
For sure. And there's other things that'll also change that with your manifold. If you've got a manifold, they seem to be slower and whatnot. But, that's just it. We like it. I like a switch box in my hand. I want to go psst, psst, and I'm up. Or psst, psst, I'm down. I don't want to fuck around. And that's what it's all about, playing with it and having fun. Some of you guys aren't into that. You just want to get in the car, go ride height, push the button, boom, car goes up, you're driving. That's cool too. Just depends on what you're into.
No, I like to play with
the manifolds. The manifolds are great. I'm iffy on them because I want to have control. I have heard that there's people that don't have problems, but I've heard a lot of people that have had problems. I've heard a lot of people that are sending manifolds in to get them fixed. And that's not just to point out one company. Okay.
That's not shaming any company. That's just across the industry. I've seen it. So
there are issues with that. And I actually had one guy at a show here in Chicago that got to the show, aired his car down. They asked him to move. He couldn't get it to air up. He had a manifold. He had no idea what to do. And I went over there, freaking figured out how to disconnect the freaking... What happened is his controller died. He couldn't use it anymore. Something happened. The plug came out and wouldn't go back in, so he had no control. So I ended up going back there, and I said, all right, well, this is going to lift off these valves. We just got to bypass it. So we disconnected it, hooked power to it, got the car up, backed it in, aired it back down. I showed him what to do, and then said, all right, this is what you're going to have to do when you go home.
I remember that.
It was hilarious because he
bought him a big thing of pizza, too.
Yeah, he did. It was great. The guy ended up having no control, and he said he had an air leak, and he had like a 45-minute drive home. So what I ended up doing was I took some speaker wire and hooked it to his thing where he had the one valve that was leaking. And I said, here, put this up by you. Now watch your gauge, or you feel that front end go down, just go, psh, psh, the car goes back up, and you're driving down the road. That's the stuff that you guys need to know because, sometimes things happen and you never know.
And the thing with that is when you do it yourself, if you've put it together, you know how to take it apart and diagnose it when shit's not right.
Right.
That's why I feel like it's a good thing to at least be there when it's being installed.
For sure. And the valves are pretty crazy. You can see some of it. And like when I talked to this guy, I looked at him and said, look, man, I can get this car up. I'm going to have to cut your wiring apart just so you know. I won't do it unless you tell me that that's what you want me to do because I don't want to be liable for it. He's like, I got to get the thing moved. So we did it. He was able to fix it later, but it took some work. But, you got to know how to get the thing home. It's a hell of a lot better than to do that and to sit there and spend some time than to spend $100 and some or whatever it costs to fucking put it on a flatbed to get it home.
Yeah, that's my thing too.
So the valves, again, it's another thing of your personal taste. The manual paddles are great. Like we said, there's no problems. You're not going to have problems with electric. You're not going to have a valve go out. You're not going to have a diaphragm in a manual valve that sticks or whatnot. But, it's all up to you. I like the electric valves. I'm not a freaking manifold guy. And we've kind of told you all about that. It all depends on what you want.
Here's how I feel about the electric valves, or manual valves for that matter. If it breaks, let's say the valve just goes south or whatever, you can walk into Home Depot and buy shit to fix it.
Yeah, it's a ball valve.
I've done it. That's why I like it. Those manifolds, you break that manifold, if something goes wrong, you're fucked.
Right.
You're totally... I'm not saying they're not bad. I'm not saying that they're not reliable. I'm just saying that if in the event it did, you're really up the creek.
Right.
But
then again, like he said, it's all up to you. There's a lot of companies out there that don't have problems with it. I've heard people that have sent in manifolds to get them fixed by several different companies, and I'm not going to bring up names, but that's something that you got to think about. I know people that have also installed them and had problems with them. There was a guy from Chi-Town who had fucking problem right off the bat.
He had all kinds of problems with it. It was right when the model came out.
So I don't want to downplay it because they do have their pros as cons and cons.
They're
like
great.
Everybody.
The operation of them, it's very foolproof once it's in.
Now, let's go into...
Squash it, 이지마. On the water squat. 여전히 몸에 감아. All can ninjas go ramble, 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 ramble. On the water squat. 여전히 몸에 감아. All can ninjas go ramble, 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 ramble. 잊지마 우리가 잊지마. 빛이 나 우리가 빛이 나. 신경 꺼 너는 너 나는 나. We the killer whales. 날개 삐고 도니에서 수영. COHORT we the cohort patties boys. Motherfucker fucker 주둥이 막 fucker 너는 너 나는 나.
And we're live.
And we're live.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Drinking and Interviews.
Drinking and podcasting.
Drinking and podcasting. We got another guy. You might know this guy. He's up here. Sometimes he's a dancing queen. Today he's going to sit down and he's going to talk with us. He is who? Mr. Steve Ball.
Mr. Steve Ball.
And I do owe you an apology, Steve, because I think when I first started this and we started talking, I mispelled or mispronounced your name as well. How the hell do you get that one wrong?
Did you mispronounce his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I caught that.
Every time that freaking camera comes on, Rich becomes Rick, and I can't get anything right.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon.
But how's it going, Steve?
It's going good. Good to be on.
Good to have you on, brother. I know you are another one of those guys that's in the scene, and we see a lot of your work, but we don't get to see you very often. Well, I guess we did when we saw you dance.
That's true.
So we wanted to have you on. We wanted to get to know you just like we did all the other people, and it's always good to have somebody else on to get to know. So, Pee-wee, You got no notes.
I know we're free balling today.
We're going for
So
it.
Steve, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
All right. I'm one of the few Scions in the North Carolina area. But I wasn't originally a Scion guy. I was a Honda guy for a long time. But I always been into cars. Grew up when the old 70s T-shirts were the thing, and I was getting hand-me-down T-shirts from my cousins, and it'd have the cars, rear it up, smoke coming out the tires, the rat feet type stuff.
Fuck yeah!
So that's a lot of my design area comes from. But Motivar Concepts itself never was intended to be an apparel or anything like that. It was a car club like almost 20 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, a bunch of us in the Hickory area got together. Some people I knew from school, some I worked with, and Jason Boggs, he drives the yellow and black Scion XB out here. He was actually one of my first members because we worked together, and he actually got me in the imports. And so from there, it just kind of took off.
Well, it's funny how that starts off. Even like with Wicked Knobs, I started off doing one thing, and it always kind of evolves into something else. You just got to kind of go with it. So it's kind of cool to hear that. So how did it end up getting to that point where Motivar then transitioned from that to?
Because when I started this team back in 2000, 2001, there was an apparel brand called Zoom Speed.
Yes.
They made even mini truck shirts and tuner shirts. Well, there's no Zoom Speed anymore.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you don't see mini truck shirts no more. Old Volkswagen shirts, or and I was like, well, I'll just make my own shirts. I want my car on a shirt. Or I can put somebody else's car on a shirt. And just from having a background in drawing and having a design eye, that it just kind of matured from there. And as far as getting into apparel, I just so happened to get laid off from a job, and this was the next thing in line. So he said, if you can print T-shirts, I'll put you to work. That's it,
Well, that's cool, because a lot of people, it's funny, we all get those things, and I'm sure at that point when you lost your job, you're all distraught. But how did you know it would end up turning into what it did now? And life kind of has that set game plan for you, and you just got to kind of go with it.
Oh, look at how many people have gone on unemployment or got laid off or got fired or whatever, and they end up doing their own thing. I mean, look at Ed Roth. He got fired from Sears.
Right. Well, and I wouldn't have had my body drop done if I didn't get freaking let go from a job. I got let go, and I ended up sitting in the garage and freaking, spending all my money on welding wire and whatnot, and got the body drop done. So it's cool to see that, and look how well it turned out for you.
Yeah. What was funny, I saw in episode 14, you mentioned John Hargrove. Well, John Hargrove is one of my old friends. He's been in my team for, like 20 years. And he actually did a bit where he put those strikers on Randy Wallen's XB.
Uh-huh.
And but he's just like me. There's no need in charging anybody an arm and a leg for simple stuff like that, or shirts and all. So that's why you're always going to get such a great deal out of me, especially when you come at me with a team, because I want to help clubs and teams. It doesn't have to be XB. I've got one team. It's based out towards the coast. They got a couple XBs, but then they let Mustangs in, and Toyota Corollas or whatever. It's more of a family thing, and just helping one another out.
Right. Well, and that's what's great. We need. There really isn't anything that I've seen. You see shirts here and there for the import thing, but there isn't really any big companies that are doing that. The mini truck guys, we've got Drop 'em Wear, we've got Hammered.
Weekend Wear, you've got Driven, you've got, what's the other brand I'm thinking? Asphalt Army makes shirts.
There's a shitload of them. And, that's just it. You got to fill that void, and it's good to have you doing that and to do that. And I'll tell you, dude, I was definitely blown away when you freaking threw up the freaking design for, both me and Pee Wee's shirts. and I love the fact that I've got mine on a shirt now. So, you know,
Oh, my shirt is dope. I love that design.
for sure. And like I said, you know, and some of the other stuff, you guys out there, you want your car on a shirt just like the rest of us, hit up Steve. You know, he'll hook you up, and you can be walking around and be like that guy that's wearing the name of his band on his shirt, just like me and Pee Wee.
Well, in the concept, too, the concept drawings are perfect because it's that sweet in-between of, like, cartoon, but still a realistic proportion, you know?
Right.
And I always like that with the drawings.
That's what I kind of go for. I want to have that, you know, 3 or 4 color screen look, but then you want to add a little bit more detail, so you have all these shadings and granulating, and it's just a lot more to it. So we've got a couple different processes we can do to put a shirt together for it. Like, you know, your sunset shirts, going with that gray, that was perfect for that design.
Perfect, dude.
And then we had that direct garment printed. Basically, it's the process, same as putting a piece of paper in your color printer. You know, it's going to print all the colors at once. And so it's the same premise. But then, you know, we heat press it and everything, make sure the ink's cured. But that logo on that gray, just like it's kind of faded into an image right out of the shirt.
Exactly.
So I was really pleased with it.
It looked like it was made that way to be perfect, you know. It just kind of blended in, you know. And that's amazing. And most of us mini truckers, you know, we're always wearing our black shirts, and we all said, you know what, we want something different.
Oh, every shirt I have is black. I only have 2 white shirts. I have my outside the box shirt, and I have this really ridiculous shirt. It says mini trucks, and it's got an Isuzu on it. It's got a blazer with drag slicks, and then something else.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
I'll wear it next time I'm here.
Yeah. See, those shirts are cool, but the thing is they get a 2 or 3 color screen. They set up on a screen printer, and they put a couple kids to work for $5 an hour, and they cook out like 300-400 of those shirts. And then what do? You end up just like 300 or 400 other people with the same style shirt.
Right.
I want to be able to give you that one off, you know? Something that's like, hey, this is my car on the shirt, not just some generic car on a shirt.
And that right there is perfect. You know, we all want to stand out. That's why we're all customizing our ride to make it look different. And, you know, like I said with Brian, you know, his logo or his tagline is, you know, why shit, I forgot what
I buy it off a rack.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, why do you want to be like all those other guys? So, yeah, it's great to have your own shirt like that. So, definitely hit up Steve for those, man. And not only that, you can put it on anything. Vinyl, you know, banners and whatnot, right?
Yeah, we do full banners. I just did a full banner for this local team. We're going to meet up in a couple of weeks at Import Face Off in Rockingham. But it's First Impressions. And they're a couple that leads it. President and vice president are actually a couple. And they've actually expanded quite a bit over the last year. I mean, I started working for them last summer, did a couple shirts for them, and they grew again. So they ordered up another bunch of shirts. And I have them a new banner that they'll be picking up in two weeks. So.
And that's something that I've noticed too. You know, we had talked about doing banners because the mini truck thing, you know, you always want to have your garage banners up in your garage to show your club and whatnot. And I actually saw, I don't remember who it was, but there was a import something that had put up garage banners, and I'm like, dude, that's cool to see it kind of flipping over to there because, you know, there's always these guys, and, you know, I've seen, what was it TAC Entertainment that you brought up the other day?
Yeah, that's a local guy too.
Watching those guys, and they're doing their own channel on this, and there's an XB guy in there, which is kind of cool. And, you know, their garage is like, blah. And I know that people like that are always wanting to show stuff off, and you're going to want to fill up that garage to make it entertaining. Maybe not to the point where you're like this, where it's a little overwhelming, but
yeah.
You know, you want to show off some of that shit. So I'm glad to see that kind of coming over to imports, and we might have to talk about that, making some outside the box banners.
Well, the banners too are a super legit thing. Like you bring them to a show or something, you got like the banner. You know, I feel like it's a very like official thing when you have the banner.
For sure, especially with your club thing, and you know. The import guys always got that huge flag or whatever, you know.
The ones they jam under the tires and it's like 12 feet in the air.
Yeah. So
the big whip banners.
Yeah,
is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do those too.
So what all do you do, Steve?
Well, I work in a full-service apparel shop. We do screen printing, direct-to-garment, sublimation. We can do coffee cups. We can do water bottles. I specialize in all our embroidery, but on the side, when I get a minute, I try to take care of my own stuff, and so that's why stuff kind of just trickles out. You know, I'll get somebody hit me up, like you hit me up in December, said we don't need them for a while. Well, I had them over at the direct-to-garment printer. I'm like, look, I kind of need these in the next week or two. And then he, stalled me out for a month because he knew that I had time. But that last week was a nail-biter, boy. That when you got them on Wednesday, it's because I just had them done on Monday, But yeah. I'm going to get you done.
Well, the sad thing is I ended up dropping the ball because I got it to the show and left them in the car and didn't hand them out to anybody. So all that shit you went through, and I fucking dropped the ball. I'm sorry.
I ended up getting mine later on,
but the people did see them, and dude, everybody was impressed with them. So it does, like you said. I think you were the one that even picked out the gray for that. So that's just perfect. You can show that you have the eye for that, and I kind of take that for granted. With some of the stuff that we see on, and I talked to Pee Wee. I'm like, dude, these pictures, some of them are great. I want to see this car, and there's a piece cut off of it, and I forget that I've got this artistic eye that I want to see certain things, and it doesn't work. But not everybody has that eye.
Yeah, but there's sometimes that I'll be walking by a car and I get an angle. I'm like, oh, that's the perfect angle. And then when you put the camera up there, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so I hardly ever take pictures because I never get what I see with my eye anyway. But that shot I sent you last night, that dark shot.
Yes.
We were all hanging out in front of the shop. That was John Hargrove. He's got the neon green. And then my Snoopy was up front. And then you barely can't see him, but Steve Huffman, he has the darkness. And then Jason Boggs was sitting in the back. But we was just hanging out after a meet yesterday, and I was telling them, man, tomorrow's going to be the day. It'd be cool when y'all come over and hang out and see what's going on behind the scenes. And no, we got family things to do. I said, that's all right.
Well, I think John, I talked to him yesterday, the guy with the striker plates, and I sent him a thing saying, hey, I got him. And he's like, yeah, well, Steve's trying to have us over there. And I'm like, well, kick ass. It'd be cool to see everybody. And I guess everybody didn't make it, huh?
Well, I mean, John and Steve, they both live in Charlotte, which is about an hour away.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and, they have family obligations on the weekend, so I understand.
Right.
But Jason, he's kind of local, but, he's got 3 kids and a wife, and,
Yeah, it's hard to do that stuff, and, that's funny because, like, with us, here, me and Pee Wee here, I know he drives an hour and a half every time, and today, like I said earlier, he drove like 2.5 hours because he was helping a guy up in our Wisconsin chapter bag some stuff, and he drives down here, and it's like the people that you don't know us, this shit like just fucking happens. Like poor Steve, he's sending me messages at 10 o'clock, and I'm like, hold on, dude, I'm trying to get episode 14 live, and then I send you a message and say, all right, dude, we're getting to you. And
it's a lifestyle, though. It becomes like a constant,
Well, basically for me, I was just letting y'all know I was here.
We appreciate that, man.
I've actually been working. My boss goes, well, you're not going to work while you do your interview, are you? I'm like, no, I'll turn it off. But I've got a piece over here that's actually running right now, So
wait, are you working right now?
Well, not at this minute. I'm talking to you.
Okay. Because it'd be awesome if you were getting paid to talk to us, too, because you'd be the only one making money.
Well, it's like Rando, when Rando's boss was sitting out in the driveway, he's like, my boss just showed up.
I thought he was joking. I literally thought he was joking. Then we get done, and he's like, no, that was actually literally my boss waiting for me on the driveway because he wanted me to do something.
Yeah, speaking of, Dode, did you see that rendering he did of an old bus? And his wife said somebody it hurts his hands when he draws so much. That's why he doesn't do it. I want to grab that and put it on a shirt and send it to him.
Dude, that would be awesome.
I mean, that's where I kind of come from. I'm like, oh, that's cool, and I know who it's about. So to me, I just like, I want to give it to him.
Yeah.
And then the friendships is what built before the business to me. You know, I mean, I can do anything and make some money, but you can't always make good friends, and that's what I work at.
It's true,
dude. That could not be said any better, you know. And that's really kind of what this is all about right now. You know, we're trying to take. We all say we know people on internet. You know, I've talked to you. You know, obviously we haven't met in person, but you know, I've talked to you all the time through Messenger and whatnot. Same with Randode and you know, everybody now. And that's what I want everybody to see. You know, that it's more than just putting your pictures up on the thing and saying, "Hey, look at me." You know, we want you guys all to like be a part of this and to bring back that whole culture. I know Will, he was talking about putting together something where people that all are XB people and to try to get people together. And he's like, dude, I'm willing to drive. And I kind of dropped the ball and didn't bring it up on the last one, but this just kind of reminded me of it, that, you know, we need that because we need to slap hands with each other and to put those friendships together. And because it's amazing, you know, in mini truck world, that's what it's all about. You know, we'll drive down to Texas, you know, we see people. And there's other people out there too. I think Steve Salas, the guy that had the Cadillac XB, I saw him at freaking LST a couple years ago, and I'm like, I'm too scared to go talk to him.
Well, you're shy in person for some reason.
For some reason, yeah. But you know, I get home and I go, dude, I saw you at LST. He's like, dude, why didn't you come fucking have a beer with me? I was like, oh fuck. So, you know, we got to get over that. We got to get out there and see people and do that. And I'm glad you're on board with that, man.
Hey, speaking of traveling and the fact that you're in North Carolina, are you going to Mini Nats next month by any chance?
No, I called my opening day event for, it's what I call the Thrills in the Hills tour. And basically it's a bunch of us. We meet up every couple months or so. But my opening day is actually April the 7th. And that's going to be in Rockingham for the import face-off.
Oh, okay.
And basically, what we're doing, we're going to come in and set up the XB Village, as Randy Wallen would put it. And we're going to have like 4 or 5 canopies set up. I got a big grill. I picked up for like $50, and I call it the coffin because I mean you could throw a couple of dead babies in this sucker. It's so big. You know, that's and then what I do, I end up putting my wife over on the grill, and she's cooking hot dogs for the good part of the time, and everybody comes by, and we shake hands, and we talk about cars, and get a hot dog, you know. It's grown to the point now where we actually have people that actually always come. They bring stuff. Like that's Jason Boggs, he is known for his chili. He brings a big old pot of chili, and he goes home with an empty pot.
That's awesome. That's
and John Hargrove's wife Amanda always makes up some coleslaw, and we always buy a couple hundred Nathan hot dogs, and we just do like a big family thing. That's what it is to me anyway. It's just getting together with family.
And that's what it should be, you know. And that's when you're saying that, that's the type of shit that we want. And everybody's complaining, you know, Scion doesn't fund us anymore. Look at that. Right there is a perfect example. Scion doesn't have anything to do with that. But you guys are out there doing that, keeping that alive. And we don't need the Scion brand to keep it going. You know, obviously you watch the Volkswagen guys and they haven't made well, I guess they make those bugs now that are kind of monstrosity. But the older guys, they don't give a shit. They're doing it. And that's fucking awesome, dude. I hope that can inspire some people to get out and do the same thing, because really that's what it's about. You know, it's great to show off your car, but it's another thing to freaking slap hands with people and to get to know people and make good friends.
Yeah, we was at a meet a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Cars and Coffee. And this guy had an old, like a 65 Chevy Corvair, but it was the van version.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned something about it because I actually had a 65 Corvair back when I was like 17. But it only had like 2 gears in it because something or other about it. It ran off of fuses. So the fuses were blown. So we just drive around the field, just do donuts in the field in first gear, you know. But he said something about you put the heads on backwards. And one of my boss's friends has got a 65 Corvair convertible on the other side of the shop that he's working on. So it was cool to kind of learn something from somebody that's been in it for a while. And, you know, because Tim's a pretty cool guy. I told him, I said, you know, you probably get some more tang out of that Corvair than you wore your Corvette.
That's funny. So let's back it up a little bit. I know we talked about it a little bit when we started, and obviously these guys don't know what we were talking about. Let's talk about how you got into the whole Scion thing.
Oh, the Scion thing has been a love affair since like 2003, 2004. But I never had enough coin to go get one brand new. But in 2012, one come up for sale. It was like right next door to the shop I was working at. So I was leaving work, and I drive by there, and I see it, and I'm about to break my neck and run off the road. I'm like, there's an XP for sale. So I turn around and drive back around. I said, oh, they just got it. It was like still off the truck from the auction, I guess, where they picked it up. Next day, it was gone. I called my mom. I said, hey, I saw an XB I want to get. You would help me out on it? Well, I don't know. We'll see. Well, Thursday, there he was again. I said, Mom, it's there. I want it. And Friday, we went and picked it up. I drove it home. And, you know, she was tickled to death for me because I finally got in the car that I wanted. And like for a month, I'd call her every day. Hey, I love my car. Hey, I love my car.
That's
but
awesome.
For the first full year, all I did was drive it and do the maintenance on it and see what the quirks were on it. And then, because I promised myself, you know, pay on it. Don't go dropping a bunch of money in it. But I had it for like a year and a day, and boom, it had suspension on it, had wheels on it. So it was like I fell off in it then.
He's more disciplined than me because I didn't last a month without touching it. I couldn't help it.
No, dude.
Well, there was a few things I did get. I got like, you know, the aftermarket fog lights, and I did put a sub in it, but I come across the sub because I did a project for a guy, and he couldn't pay me, so I just took his speakers.
There you
I mean,
go.
I can part her out.
Speakers are the best speakers.
You know, and the thing is, it's an old Sony Explode, and it's been in that thing for 5 years.
Oh,
and
God.
I'll have to get you some more pictures of it, but I got it sitting center in the back seat, like right on the hump, so you could still have people to sit in the back seat and the speakers facing up. And it's got great sound, I think. But, you know, I'm not going for sound competitions either.
No, it's just about getting to and from work and having a good time. But that's an interesting install, dude. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, and but now, you know, after 5 years on the same springs, I've got 3-inch drop out of a 2-inch spring. Yeah. So speed bumps are not friendly. And
No.
every time we go somewhere, you know, my wife would much rather drive her XB because it sits at a normal stance. And I said, but it's not Snoopy. And she says, why, you don't like Pearl? Which is the name of her car. I said, no, I like Pearl fine, but it's just not low. And so then we go somewhere, and I'm having to take, you know, 10 seconds to pull in somewhere to articulate. And I sit, and it'll scrape some, and I'll look over at her. I'm like, I need more low. And she falls apart. You can't get no more low. It scrapes now. You can't go nowhere. You know,
Hey, I got a solution for that. We know a guy who makes a thing to fix that problem.
Well, and I know, and I was bringing it to him. He's like, you know what? You know how many shirts we got to sell to do that? There you go, guys. Steve needs a freaking air ride, so you guys got to buy shirts.
And the thing is I've already got okay to buy air ride.
Whoa! What else do you
What are
need?
you waiting on? Let's go.
She goes. Well, you can get air ride then if you have to have more load. So
You got to keep her right there, my friend.
well,
Yeah,
I
you
married
already
her
got
4
the
years
okay.
before she got a car. So, but yeah, she had to have one after she saw what I was doing to mine, and she's coming along pretty well. I get wheels. I guess I'm the local wheel whore. I've got like 2 sets of wheels sitting in the basement now and my buddy come by yesterday and picked up a sticker and he says, man, I got some 4x100s. You want them? I said, how much? And he says, $200. I'm like, can I throw you some apparel on them? He says, tell you what, just give me 150. I said, oh my God, I'm gonna get you some money next week. So there, I've got 2 sets of wheels sitting, and I'm already buying more wheels.
Well, there you go. Now you just got to clean them up, make them real shiny, sell them off outright, or trade them for our air ride parts.
Well, we'll see. I still got.
And we're live. You guys saw it. We talked. We got to get to know Steve. Did you guys learn anything about the air ride? Hopefully you did. We're not.
And if you didn't, you got a good refresher course.
Right, and hopefully, maybe I tell you some of that stuff. The thing with the whole water traps was huge to me. So it was like I'm listening to that podcast and it just went.
When we publish, I'm gonna put the episode number and the name of the podcast, Our Lifestyle, so that way you can find it on iTunes or Podbean or whatever, and you can listen to it because it was very it was good. It was a real good informative thing.
It's the best one I've heard
even
yet.
for me and Oz, who he has a bit more experience than I do.
And I'll tell you what, that right there, it totally changed my whole opinion on one component because I was misinformed. So, and I'm just going to relay all that information to you. So we aren't going to say much of anything else. We went long on that. We actually split that thing up, so you'll get to the air part too. You'll get to see part of that in the next episode as well. So you'll get to read more about Steve. You get to read. Blah, 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 blah.
You read if it's subtitles.
I have thought about putting Japanese subtitles at the bottom.
Oh, God. That ought to be entertaining.
Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Once again, thanks to all our sponsors. Hit them guys up if you need anything, stickers and whatnot. You know what to do. You've heard me talk about it for freaking too long anyway. So, well, that's it. And we'll shut the fuck up.
What up, y'all? Yeah, soundtrack, what's poppin', baby? Woo! Y'all ain't know, I go by the name of Lupe Fiasco, representing that first and 15. Yeah, and this one right here, I dedicate this one right here to all my homies out there grinding. You know what I'm saying? Legally and illegally. You know what I'm talking about? So, check it out. First got it when he was 6, didn't know any tricks. Matter of fact, first time he got on it, he slipped, landed on his hip and busted his lip. For a week he had to talk with a lisp like this. Now we can end the story right here, but shorty didn't quit, it was something in the air. Yeah, he said it was something so appealing, he couldn't fight the feeling, something about it. He knew he couldn't doubt it, couldn't understand it. Branded, since the first kick flip he landed. Labeled a misfit, a bandit. Cocoon, cocoon, cocoon. His neighbors couldn't stand it, so he was banished to the park. Started in the morning, one stopped after dark. Yeah, when they said it's getting late in here, so I'm sorry, young man, there's no skating here. And so we kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. And away he rolled, just a rebel to the world with no place to go. And so we kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, coast. So come and skate with me, just a rebel.